Hello and welcome everyone. Here we're back for another discussion video. Today we're talking about the Pioneer Banner Restricted update from Monday, which is yesterday from the time this video is supposed to come up, December 2nd. Three changes. We're going to talk about them just pretty much order they come, starting with Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time, obviously, maybe had it not been a free spell, if it's the first spell you cast of the game, card might have been reasonable to have in the format, because then it would just kind of be another Bond of Flourishing type effect like that, or type almost anticipate based effect. I said when Oath of Nissa was banned, I wasn't surprised because of how powerful it was. Finding you a planeswalker, creature, or land, fixing your mana, doing all this stuff. Well, the one place where when that happened, I thought Oath of Nissa was more powerful because it fixed your mana for planeswalkers, so that meant you could really stretch it. You could play Saheeli, Teferi, Oko. Like you could play pretty much the whole spectrum of your 3-drop, 4-drop planeswalkers of all these different colors and fit them into a deck together without having to be all specifically green planeswalkers, like green splashing a color. But I'm not surprised to see Once Upon a Time go. There are plenty of decks. I mean, take the Blue-Red Phoenix deck. Now there are so many variants of it that are splashing green just to play Once Upon a Time, because it's a free spell, first spell. But on top of that, it can help fix your mana. It can find you threats. There's a lot of decks that I've seen just playing it just to play it. It's another spell. Obviously, as you're going to see today, we're playing two decks that unfortunately got hit by the ban list, so we're getting extra Pioneer content this week. And the funny thing is I wanted to record another video for this week too, and I was going to play Muggles Copper. So I'm glad I didn't get to do that already. But anyway, Once Upon a Time, it's just so powerful in these decks being able to have almost effectively an additional 4 copies of a 1-mana dork. So like we played Temur Oko. In the deck, it really feels like we could have our 4 Gooses, our split of Mystics and Llanowar Elves, and then plus 4 Once Upon a Time, really feels like we have 12 1-drop mana dorks, without the cost in the later game of having 12 1-mana, accelerant mana dorks. So it going is not surprising. I think it's a little too powerful, too much fixing, in a format that doesn't have fetch lands. Explicitly doesn't have fetch lands. In Modern, mana bases are already about as good as they can get. So it in Modern I don't think is nearly as, at least for the fixing aspect of it, not nearly as pivotal, because you have all your fetches, you have all this other stuff going on. Doesn't mean I think it's not too good. I don't know. I don't think it's broken in Modern. I think it's fine. But in a format like Pioneer, I think it's too good. Same thing with Standard. I'm glad to see it go in Standard. I don't know how they're going to handle it in Historic. Admittedly, Historic does kind of seem like an afterthought at this point, that they're just doing so that people on Arena have another format to play. We'll see if they even keep it, how long they keep it around, how long they keep supporting it. But that's a conversation for a different time. Once Upon a Time, I think, is a reasonable choice. I think the power level of the card is a little too high. And it just makes green decks a little too strong and makes it easy to splash another color into a deck. And I don't think that's... if you're a creature-based deck, you should be just playing green to play green. Play green for Once Upon a Time. So I think it's a good choice. Now, Field of the Dead. Field of the Dead's another card that, in Standard, at the end of... before Eldraine, we had Bant Scapeshift, stuff like that running around. Then, of course, we had the Golos Scapeshift deck in the beginning of Eldraine. And obviously the deck was a little too strong. Now, in Pioneer, you've got a lot of other pieces that are really powerful. You have, of course, you have the same Planeswalker pieces. You have Okos, you have the Teferis. But we have Hour of Promise. The green Hour lets you go search for 2 lands, put them into play tapped. It's just 2 lands. It's not even 2 of the same land. It's not even, you can go grab your Field of the Dead and your 7th land type, or your 7th land to make 2 zombies, stuff like that. He also has Sphinx's Rev, which in that deck is just really powerful because you got all this extra mana you're not using most of the time. Sphinx's or Supreme Verdict because you're in Bant already, And your ramp spells, don't get me wrong, we don't have exactly great ramp. It's not like in Modern where we have really good ramp. But we have acceptable ramp. We have good enough ramp to make the deck powerful enough. Plus the inevitability, it makes it so that control decks and interactive decks are just not good enough. They're not going to outlast the Field of the Dead decks. Because unless you just stop all 4 fields, your opponent's eventually going to draw another field. And even when they run out of gas in their deck, they're still going to have lands. So, I can see why Field of the Dead is gone. I think Field of the Dead is a card that's a little too powerful. Again, I think Field of the Dead's a card that's just built to be too slow in Modern as a real problem. Obviously, on this channel, we've lost to it against Titan decks, the Amulet Titan decks. We've lost because of Field of the Dead. But that's also because we play mostly slow, dirty control decks or mid-range decks. The decks that kind of card is good against. But you turn around and say we're playing Phoenix. Field of the Dead's not great against Phoenix decks. Field of the Dead's really bad against evasive creatures. That's the best way to get around it is flying, unblockable, can't be blocked by power 2 or less, or 2 or whatever, stuff like that. And then the last card that was banned is Smuggler's Copter. And I have to say I think Mono Black Aggro is the reason this card has got itself banned. Not that it doesn't deserve it. It was in my watch list of cards that I think were a little too good. I definitely thought that Field of the Dead, Smuggler's Copter, and the Saheeli combo, I felt like those were 3 of the bigger proponents to get banned. But Smuggler's Copter, of course, was banned in its standard time. It's 2 mana, can be crewed by basically any creature. It's just 1 power. And then it's not even when you deal damage to your opponent, it's when you declare it attacking or blocking, you loot. Like, that's insane. Like, you don't have to deal damage, you just block or attack. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you deal damage, if it gets blocked, it doesn't matter. If it's declared attacking, you draw a card, discard a card. It's ridiculous. And it's a May, so you don't even have to. Like, at least if it was a must, there'd be some kind of redemption to it, because then you'd have stuff like Narset can punish it. But even that's super narrow and not even that reasonable or realistic. But I'm just saying. I think the Smuggler's Copter is definitely a little bit too strong, especially since the decks that are really taking advantage of it. Excuse me. I had a yawn there. Sorry about that. The decks that are taking advantage of it are the aggressive decks. They are the, mono black aggro. I've seen a couple mono red decks playing it. I've seen the Boros kind of feather deck. I've even seen a version of it playing it. Well, I played against a version playing it. I believe I was testing the Jeskai Black version for the Better Than the Rest, I think it was, and we played against a Boros feather deck playing that. Now, there's a lot of different things. And Smuggler's Copter, it can fit in almost any deck. Do you have creatures that have power 1? Sure, yeah. Then yeah, okay, play it. It's a card to me that I think is just too accessible to aggressive strategies, and it's a little too hard to deal with. We have a lot of good removal in the format for artifacts and such, but it's just one of those things where I think it's just a little too good. It does too much for too low of a cost. Same thing like with Once Upon a Time. It just does too much for too little of a cost. This ban list is probably the one I have... saying liked is even the wrong word to say it. This has got to be the one that I've felt is most in line with what the format needs. Another thing I want to address real quick before we wrap this up. Number 1. People who think that they're banning too much stuff, or they're doing too much banning, or this every week banning is too much. I agree that the every week banning is a little bit ridiculous. I think that we should have it every other week, or even I'm even hesitant to say like emergency ban status, but I think every other week is reasonable. But my thing is, they made this ban list originally with 5 cards on it. They banned the 5 Pioneer legal fetch lands. That's it. That is all they banned. And they even said they're going to be very aggressive up until next year, banning cards to try and help the format get healthy. And they've got a lot of information coming from different Pioneer leagues and different events of Pioneer, stuff like this. It's a lot of results to view things on, you know? And I think, honestly, what they're doing is good. Veil of Summer, they felt was a problem. They got rid of it. The Saheeli combo, they felt was a problem. They got rid of it. They thought that, I do have to say, I think that when they went after Mono Green Devotion, I definitely think they hit the wrong card. I think that Leyline of Abundance is not the biggest problem in the deck. I think it was a problem. I don't think it was the biggest problem. But, we're going back to Theros, which means, and I believe they confirmed already Devotion will be a mechanic in Theros. I could be wrong. But if they did, that means Nykthos is going to get reprinted, which makes sense. I wouldn't want to be banning my soon-to-be reprinted cards in newer formats that you're pushing. I wouldn't want to ban them there. But that's it. Veil of Summer to me was a little bit weird and kind of random almost. Toward this, I get. All right, I support this. I very much so support this wholeheartedly. I mean, still, we're at 6. We're at 9 cards. It's not a bad sized ban list. Compared to every other format except for Standards ban list, this is pretty good. Like I said, I think that this is the one I can most agree with. And they're going to keep banning cards when they're a problem. But I hope from here there's only 1 card or / 2 cards I could see being any kind of a problem. That is Nexus of Fate or Wilderness Reclamation. Number 1, I think if you take Wilderness Reclamation out of the format, Nexus of Fate won't be a big deal. You don't give them the constant reuse of mana engine, Nexus of Fate's not a big deal. On the other hand, you take Nexus of Fate out of the format, I just don't think people are going to play Wilderness Reclamation decks. That's just my opinion. I don't think they will. I could be wrong. I mean, obviously, look at Standard right now. We have no Infinite Turn card, yet we have Temur Reclamation as one of the more played decks in the format. So, I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I don't think so, but I could be. Anyway, I think if any other cards get banned in the format right now, based on my experience playing the last couple weeks, is we're going to say goodbye to Nexus of Fate or Wilderness Reclamation. Beyond that, there's nothing that sticks out to me as too good. Don't wrong. There's always the you could ban Oko. Sure. You could also ban Teferi, the 3-drop Teferi. You could also ban Chandra. There's a lot of Planeswalkers that are absurd. Admittedly, I think Oko is the best Planeswalker ever printed, and maybe Oko should just be banned in every format. Okay. I don't like that, but okay. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of the bans. Let me know what you guys think of what should be banned, what could be banned, what you hope to see gets banned, things like that. And just understand that right now, starting off, this is not a format that is going to necessarily be concrete right away. We're going to still have some changes. So, anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Discuss, talk about what you think, what cards you think should be banned, what cards shouldn't be banned. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will catch you guys next time.